Welcome to another video of Ask a Master Coach. My name is Jeremiah Rangel, and I have been professionally coaching for over 25 years now, and I've worked with over 6,250 clients. So I've been my way around the block, and basically I have people reach out to me all the time and ask questions. And mostly they're coaches who have some sort of certification and training, but they don't have a system to help them or mentors or teachers to help them. So that's why I gratefully offer this service on YouTube and just to help as many people as I can, because we need people to help people. And I'm a people helper, as are you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. So if you want to see more videos like this, would you please give me a like? If you like this video, give it a subscribe and ring the bell. Or tell me in the comments below what was your biggest takeaways. And the reason why is that really helps me to be able to know to be able to make more videos. Or if you have a question yourself, write that in the comments below. So let's get right into it. This is from a subscriber named Felice Karen 8430. So Felice wrote me a few questions, and I love these questions, and I'm going to answer them authentically and to the best of my ability with my training and my background. So let's get into it. The first one is, and Felice has a background in NLP and hypnotherapy. I'm not sure what NLP. My presupposition is it's generation 1 NLP, and as far as hypnotherapy, it might be more classical, but I'm not quite sure. But let's get into it. So when a subject can't locate feelings or images, I immediately assume I can't help them because I can't instruct them to change the submodalities, and I feel like I failed them. How do you work with such people? This is a very common thing, Felice, that I have experienced when I was beginning coaching, but I help coaches every day walk through situations like this. And that's why I created the life coach training that we do, the spiritual NLP training, and I addressed all of this. And so, fortunately, my students don't have this question, but here's what I tell them. And this is conversations we have every day. So when there's a saying in NLP or a belief for people who are kind of beginner or mid-level that sometimes people don't have submodalities or they can't get mental pictures or images. And that's just fundamentally not true. That people always have pictures or images, but what is true is they don't know how to locate them. That's the truth. But it's when people say like, I can't get mental pictures, it's just not true. So here's what's going on. The majority of people, right, 45% of people on the planet are visual learners. And 40% of the people are kinesthetic learners. They're hands-on, they're feel learners. And then 15% are auditory learners. Well, the majority of people majority of human beings, unless we work on this, we always give to people the way we want to receive. So in NLP, a lot of times it's taught about visual. Submodalities are more visual as what people think, but there's also visual submodalities. There's auditory submodalities. There's kinesthetic submodalities. There's olfactory submodalities, smell. There's taste, gustatory submodalities, and then there's energy submodalities. The 5 physical, 1 non-physical sense. So we have 6 senses. 5 of them are physical in the physical world. 1 of them are non-physical. Here's the deal. If you ask somebody, what does that look like? What's the first picture that comes to mind when I ask you blank? And you come up with blank. Well, when people say, I don't know, this is what I found to be true, 100% true. When people say, I don't know, it's really one of a couple different things. Generally, when people say, I don't know, especially if you're doing a good job of going into peripheral vision and peripheral awareness, getting rapport with their unconscious mind, then what it's going to do is, I don't know equals, I'm not consciously aware of it presently, currently. So again, I don't know equals, I'm just not consciously aware of it. And as the coach, what happened is you didn't elicit the right file system to get the information. That's it. There's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. So we try something different. But when people say, I don't know, it's either they can't access it because they just didn't get coached well enough, I should say, paced and led efficiently enough. Or the other thing is they fundamentally don't have it in their map. The majority of the time when it comes to coaching, they're not consciously aware of it. So when they say, I don't have pictures, I can't visualize it really well, I've never been able to, it's a weak muscle that it's not developed, that's all. So what I do and what I found that works, and you're going to love this, is if you ask, what does that look like? What does that picture, what does that image look like? And they say, I don't know, nothing comes up. And the issue really, pictures aren't ever issues. Pictures are only issues if there's a synesthesia with them. If there's only a visual picture and a negative kinesthetic, negative feeling, then it's a synesthesia, then it's a problem. So people generally don't have issues with pictures, they have issues with the feelings about the pictures, the internal representations. So I ask, well, pardon me, what is that feeling? What is the feeling associated with this? And they can tell you all about it. And how big is that feeling? If there was a color to that feeling, what would that be? Of course, I know, and you know now, that we started to open up with kinesthetic questions, asking them about the submodalities of kinesthetic, and then they're going to give visual predicates. That's really what works. It's not the correct file system. So we need to become, as coaches, as NLP practitioners, as hypnotherapists, we need to become better at switching to different submodalities and working our neural pathways to have more flexibility. That's the biggest thing. So when in doubt, if visual doesn't work, go to kinesthetic. Sometimes, maybe 1% of the time, it might be auditory. I would say, if you ask me percentages, I would say 60% of the time visual works. I would say 30% of the time kinesthetic works, and then maybe 8% auditory, and then 1-2% of the other ones, the olfactory, gustatory, and energy. So it's mostly going to be that, in my experience, out of that's just the sample of human beings I worked with, about over 6,250. So that's what I would recommend to you. I would recommend that if visual's not working, go to the feeling, the emotion, and ask about that. That's what I do, and that's an issue that beginner coaches start to have when they're beginning, is they feel that they're a failure. And that's something that you definitely will need to work on. Is, I've never met a failure in my life. I've met, hundreds of thousands of people in my life, and I've never met one of them that was a failure. Now, I met several people who identify with being a failure. That's a psychological issue. It's a disconnection from the source that created them spiritually. But I've never actually met somebody, oh, that's a failure, right? People can identify with their strategies, but we aren't our strategies. And if we have a strategy that identifies with identifying with our strategies, we should definitely upgrade that, and even go into peripheral awareness and bringing that higher consciousness resources to that. So that's what I would recommend. The twofold is, as you working with people, switch modalities. So if visual is not working, go to kinesthetic, go to auditory. You have to be in peripheral awareness. This is something that a lot of people won't tell you out there, but I will tell you, because I lived it. I walk the walk. I do it every day. As a coach, if you have an issue with something and it's not working, you need to go deeper within yourself. That is a skill that I've perfected, mastered. I don't know if that's the best word, but it just works 100% of the time. I'm absolutely do 100% of the time. So I would say perfected, mastered, but I'm also mastering the further I go in life. And that's something for you, and that's something we teach in our training all the time when our students doing it, not only in the coaching sessions, but in real life too. So if it's not working, I think Albert Einstein said, no problem can be solved by the same level of consciousness it took to create it. So if you're on this level, whatever level this is, your answer is not there. If you're on the problem level, it's not there. It's deeper within yourself. It's peripheral awareness, or drop your locus, or get around people or mentors that will help. So that's what I would say for the external thing. For internally, is to work up, what is that internal representation for you that comes up, that has I'm a failure, and again, how far back does that go, right? So coaching is multidimensional. We need to coach ourselves. We need to receive coaching to be able to coach. I'll say that one more time. Successful coaches need to coach ourselves and receive coaching from people that are better, further, more evolved than us in certain areas where we want to become more evolved, better, and to be able to help other people as well. So that's what I recommend. It's they can't do it. There's one thing, the final thing for this part is, we have a saying in our training is, there are no difficult clients. There's only insufficient pacing. So there are no difficult clients. There's only insufficient pacing. It's not them, it's how we communicate. And if what we're doing doesn't work, we need to do something different. So feel free to reach out, and I can walk you through some more of this, and I'd be happy to walk you through any limiting internal representations you have within yourself so you can help unlock it within your clients. Question number 2 for Felice. And when I work with friends and family, it seems that NLP and hypnosis techniques don't work. I'm assuming it's because they know me personally as opposed to clients who believe I can help or cure them. How would one work with family? Well, this is so interesting. It goes kind of back to that first question is if you have, as a coach, issues, unresolved experiences from your past that you have not yet addressed for whatever reason. It wasn't time, you didn't have the right resources. It doesn't matter what the reason is. If we have, as coaches, things we need to work on, it's going to 100% with total certainty be reflected from our clients. This isn't just limited to coaching, but especially in coaching. So if you have unresolved things with your friends and family, it really has to do with your family and your early childhood. It doesn't always have to be about trauma. It can be trauma, but it has just anything that's unresolved, disconnected, anything you haven't fully experienced in your past, it will come up. And it will come up with clients. It will come up with life situations, but especially around family. So I would say that NLP techniques and hypnosis does work. It depends on how you work it. Anything like a car does not work. An automobile does not work if you don't start it, if you don't put fuel, whether it's petrol, whether it's gas, whether it's hydrogen, whether it's battery. You need some sort of fuel source or energy source for it. It won't work with that. It won't work if you don't have circular tires. There's also like treads, but I'm just talking about in general. You need tires to move. There's a lot of components that goes into an automobile or a car in order for it to work. Well, it's the same thing for coaching as well. So it can, but you just need to upgrade your strategy of how to do that. Again, from these questions that I'm reading from you, my presupposition is you didn't have a school or a mentoring to offer that for you. We, in our school and in the mentoring program, especially in the business after the school, the Confident Coach Blueprint program we offer, we walk students through this and coaches through this all the time because you need to be the best version of yourself to help your clients become the best version of themselves. And you need to upgrade yourself if you want to get to the next level of your business. And so this just makes sense. So it seems like the techniques, they don't work. Well, it's how you're doing them. I can just tell you right now with 100% total certainty. And you said there's clients who believe that you can help or cure them. So this could be a little bit difference of language, because we don't, as far as like, I know there's techniques called like the fast phobia cure, there's the allergy cure. And of course, I mean, when I work with people, yes, they don't have the allergies anymore and they don't have the phobias anymore, of course. So, sure, we can call it that. But do they believe it? To me, it doesn't even matter if my clients can believe that I help them. I can still help them if they want to. Like, a belief to get helped isn't necessarily a precursor to getting help. Yes, it does help. And yes, it's really, really important. But the chances are is your family and friends have this mental image around you. They have an identity of who you are. And they put you in a box, and limited to, this is who Felice is. And then when you're trying to go outside of the box of what they think you are, or how they limited or framed you, then it might not fit. I've experienced this quite a bit. Years ago, before I became the coach I am today, I started off with a different kind of coaching, which is more, it's called corrective exercise core specialist in the fitness exercise world. And I remember being a personal trainer, but it was like a high-level personal trainer. I only worked at private training studios my whole career. And as a trainer, when I started to get my coaching skills, and I was having people that only knew me at coaching, it was just phenomenal. But when I started to integrate it into my training business, because I did integrated coaching, a lot of people already had me as a framed a certain way. And so it's like, well, you're the trainer guy. How can you help me with this? I'm like, there's a lot more of me that you see behind the scenes, than the hour that we're together, 3 times a week. So, and that's what was an issue that I had growing my business. And what I found to be true is these people just weren't my clientele. They were my ideal clientele. Of course, we talk about in our Confident Coach Blueprint, your friends and family will not build your business for you. Your friends and family can be really good practice clients if they're open to it and if you have that level of training and sophistication within yourself, then it could work. Other than that, your friends and family is going to give you feedback of what you need to work on, but also what you need to learn. Are they even open to it? Are they just obliging you? Sure, I'll do your thing because you're doing this new thing and I care about you. So sure, go ahead and give it a try. But that's not how you're going to build your business. If this is what you in fact want to do full time, like myself and less than 5% of the coaches out there who ever become certified, it's just you're going to have to do things differently than the 95%. So what I recommend is take a look at what is it bringing up for you. What emotions, what is it bringing up for you? Internal representations or emotions or feelings of when you work with them. Like it's stuck, it's not flowing, it's kind of doing this. And what do you need to do different? I, with 100% total certainty, I'm the go-to guy in my clients' lives when daughter got in a car accident and was getting airlifted to a level 1 hospital, and I'm the first person to call and how to deal with it and calm the mother down to be able to walk through. I'm the guy when somebody's about to get a divorce, somebody's getting cheated on, and this has just happened. They call me and I can walk them through it just super, super easy. I'm the one who daughter just got diagnosed with cancer and had this lump, and now they have to do chemotherapy, and now her body's not working correctly. Not the same person she was. I'm the go-to person in people's lives, and I'm always going to be resourceful. I'm always going to go deeper. I will die before I fail. I have that mentality. It's gone such a long way. I don't know how to coach that. I think I'm born with it. But I recommend, there's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. I would recommend, quit, die before you quit. That's just what I recommend. And that's what I do. That's what's helped me to become more successful. That being said, not everybody wants my coaching. Not everybody wants coaching. I learned that. And guess what? I don't want to coach everybody. I used to when I was younger. I want to coach everybody. I want to help people. This has helped me so much. Not everybody wants help. Not everybody values help. Not everybody wants your help. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's such a great question I want to give to you that was given to me by the divine presence as an insight. And the question is, you can ask it for just about everything, is what's wrong with that? You can name anything in the world. There's people that are killing people right now, and what's wrong with that? What about that as a problem for you? If somebody's doing something so far away, but it's not actually impacting you directly, I understand we're all interconnected, but if it's not impacting you directly, physically, what's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with that is, and then your point of view and what the real problem is will be exposed. And that's what you need to work on too. So you can do it. You need to be more flexible. You need to try different things. I'd be more than happy to walk you through it. And they might not be your ideal client, and that's just fine too. Even if it's a practice client, that's okay. Question number 3 she has for me, and I find it very difficult to take myself into trance. Is this common? Here's the deal. There is 3 levels of skill set when it comes to coaching that I'm going to share with you right now. The first level, in my opinion, is the entry level, is receiving coaching. If you have a great coaching system that you got your training for, you would have received at least 50 different transformational experiences, at least. That's my opinion. That's what I went through. That's what I facilitate. That's what my students get. A lot more than that, actually. So not everything of coaching is transformational. Now, hypnotherapy is really the same. The majority of hypnotherapy trainings out there aren't great, in my opinion. The majority of life coaching trainings out there aren't great. The majority of coaches aren't great. The majority of lawyers aren't great. The majority of doctors aren't great. The majority of carpenters aren't great. Do I mean that they can get the job done? Sure. But what do I mean about greatness? I mean, greatness is an elite. Greatness is people that do way more work than the rest, that have way more passion, that goes the extra mile. Greatness is something that is an absolution that somebody dedicates their life to. So I can reframe that the majority of coaches don't dedicate their life to coaching. The majority of doctors don't dedicate their lives to being a doctor. The majority of carpenters, the majority of blank, the majority of you fill in the blank. So depends on where you got your training from first. For me, this is what I'm built and born to do, and my clients or my students can feel that. So is it difficult to take yourself in a trance? Receiving is the one thing. A lot of times people have a hard time receiving from other people. But if you can do that, then the second thing is to coach yourself. So receive coaching, coach yourself, coach others. These are the three different categories. To receive coach, some people have a hard time with that and they can coach others but not receive it. Not great coaches, in my opinion, in my experience. But sometimes people can receive it really well and coach others but have a hard time receiving it for themselves because they worked on themselves to help other people, but they didn't work on themselves to help themselves. So is it difficult to take yourself into trance? Is it common? I would say yes. I would say it is common to have a difficulty because your school probably taught you how to lead other people into trance. Correct? Correct. Very few schools teach how to lead yourself into trance. Those are two different schools in a way. Here's how to receive hypnosis. That's one separate thing. Here's how to coach yourself. That's one separate thing. Here's how to coach other people. That's one separate thing. They're three separate things. In a way, one could generalize, this is all hypnotherapy. Sure. One could also generalize money or finance or career is the same as employees are the same as who follow somebody else's system and follows orders is the same as a self-employed who has to create their own system. There's no bosses and they work by themselves. Is the same through business owners who own a system and they have to actually lead other people through the system. Those are three separate things. Those are three different worlds within the financial world. Well, the same thing is true about coaching, right? Somebody could generalize it's all the same. It's not. All the people in the world are the same. They're not. All the trees in the world are the same. They're not. So that's the biggest thing is there's a muscle that hasn't gotten built up of teaching you how to do self-hypnosis. And that's pretty easy. Again, if we were right now live, I would walk you right through it and maybe we do another video and I will help you with that. But the biggest thing is you need to really, in my opinion, be around somebody like myself who has broken through, who has gone through the levels of depth within themselves and can easily transfer that to you. I have other videos that we have on here and I will make more guided meditations, but there's also guided hypnotherapy. And those are two different things, two different vibrations. And you can be around somebody because that's what I did. I went around teachers who broke through. They were teachers, but they were people that broke through things that transferred the ability for me to be able to do that. So that's a really, really big thing is to be around somebody who can do it and who does do it, maybe dedicate their life to do it and to teach you how to do that. So I do feel like it is common, but I feel greatness is uncommon. I feel what we're talking about is uncommon. I feel like what I've broken through is uncommon. What I've coached is uncommon. What you're asking is uncommon. What I'm sharing you is uncommon, which is great because this is how we get better as coaches is to ask the questions. And if we don't like the answer, go to somebody that can fit us better, but we have to change our environment. So it can be difficult at first. We have a lot of different trainings that we offer. I offer guided hypnotherapy where you push play and you go into trance just by listening. And the more you do that, you can actually learn how to transfer that for yourself and do it for yourself. So that's what I would recommend. So reach out and we can talk more about that. But it is very difficult or at first, and it is very common. But a lot of it has to do with the training and the environment that you learned your hypnotherapy in. Great question. And question number 4, how or what do you do to put subjects in a very deep trance where they become very submissive and follow instructions like those in stage hypnosis? All right, I'm going to completely pick apart this sentence or this question in a good way because I'm going to break apart one at a time. So how or what do I do to put subjects? So that's the first thing is I do not call people, I do not frame people, I do not relate to people as subjects. To me, that comes from a clinical hypnotherapy and the hypnotic subjects. I don't use it. To me, if I call you a subject, how would that feel? If I call you friend, how would that feel? If I call you Felice, how would that feel? Right? If I call you stranger, if I call you person, there's different frames. I didn't change my energy at all, but notice how you experience it different when I put different frames around you. So that's the first thing that I would recommend. Again, to each their own. I'm only giving you suggestions. Take what you need or what you like, get rid of the rest. But I would start to reframe clients or people. That's what I would do. So, and I'm gonna reframe the question as I go along. So, how or what do I do to put people? Okay, I'm gonna go back to put. I don't put anything. You can't make people. The kind of style of NLP that I learned, all hypnosis is self hypnosis. It's not like the movies. It's not like Hollywood, where you can push a button and do something and people go off and they're all of a sudden an assassin, or they go off and they do crazy stuff. That's Hollywood. Hollywood is so incorrect when it comes to medical things, when it comes to firearms, when it comes to snakes, when it comes to alligators and hypnosis. Yeah, that's just 100% true. So, and it's just for ratings and it's just not accurate. And most people get their accurate or their information from Hollywood. So I don't put anything. I guide, I facilitate, I lead. So I'm going to reframe that. So what do I do to lead my clients into a very deep trance? Well, I'm going to start with that right there. I'm going to answer that. I go into a deep state myself, but I don't go catatonic. I don't necessarily have to close my eyes. I can close my eyes, but I don't have to. It's all about locus. Locus is the location of where you're speaking from. So I'm going to show you something right now. So this is you listening to me, and you're probably having a nice, enjoyable time because I'm answering your questions to the best of my ability. I'm actually putting my entire being into answering these questions for you. But I'm going to show you something. I do this with my clients a lot. So I'm going to just notice how you feel as I continue to talk. I'm just going to talk. I haven't thought anything, and I'm actually going to start to lower my locus. And this is just what I'm doing internally. So my locus was around my throat. Now it's at my heart center. And see if you feel anything different as we're in rapport and as you're just listening. And I'm just going to continue to lower the locus down to around the belly button area. And just notice if you feel like you're going deeper within yourself or not. You tell me. Now I'm going down to maybe like the second chakra, the first chakra, and that's where like I'm basically sitting on my locus. How about that? And then I could even go further. I can put the locus in the floor. So I haven't really changed my tone too much. A little bit, not too much. But the difference is my locus has dropped. Now I'm going to do it just for a temporary time, about 20 feet below the floor. And what does that do for you? How are you feeling differently now? Now, I could add, I'm only going to do this for a few minutes or a few seconds, and I'm going to come back up. But I could lower my tone to match the locus. I could lower my volume and spread out my words, make them silky smooth. But I'm not choosing to do that. I'll start to slowly bring the locus back up to about 10 feet below me, and then now maybe slowly at the ground level, and then maybe back up to sitting on the locus, which is the first chakra, which is at the base of the spine, and then second chakra, third, and then back up to like my heart center, and then back up to maybe my throat. This is where the locus is right now. But what happened is you're feeling like, whoa, I kind of went on a little journey. Jeremiah, you didn't really say much, but a lot happened. Well, that's what I do, and that's what I teach. That's what we teach at our school. Is there's so much more that goes into it. I only really focus on one thing. I could do a whole bunch of things, and then we wouldn't be having the same conscious conversation. But you need to get better at lowering your locus. And actually, it becomes quite like spiritual, but it's also, that's why we don't teach at our school. I don't teach at my school hypnotherapy without the spiritual NLP, because not any NLP and any hypnotherapy are, the NLP is the basis of communication, leadership, and coaching, really. And then with hypnosis, you need that foundation to be able to do that. And hypnosis triples the understanding of the NLP, but without the spiritual NLP, the hypnosis, it won't be great in my experience. So that's what I do. Is it's all about locus, the location of from where you're speaking from. It's not just a voice thing, it's an energy thing, it's a presence, and it's exclusively limited to hypnotherapy. It's different than meditation. Hypnotherapy is different than meditation, different than spiritual work. Yes, people can have mystical or spiritual experiences in breath work, meditation, hypnotherapy, spiritual things. Yes, but they're not the same thing. It can all come from the same source, but it's not the same thing. We all live on the same planet, but we're not the same person. So let's go to the second part is so they become very submissive. Well, I don't work with people till they become submissive. I do work with people till they become relaxed, open, receptive. But I don't want I want you to submit to me. I'm going to say that to you right now. How do you feel? I want you to submit to me. I want you to do everything. The only submission that I do is with jujitsu. But I'm also working with a person. The person knows, hey, I'm trying to submit you. You're trying to submit me. We're trying to have each other learn and grow. But submissive, what's the opposite of submissive, right? And so that means you are the opposite of that. And so I'm not trying to get them to submit. And maybe your definition of submission is different than mine, but I'm working towards getting them to relax, open up, and be more receptive to their unconscious mind. And if what I'm saying is in alignment with their value system, man, it's going to have such a great time. So that's what I would do. Follow instructions. I don't instruct people to do things necessarily under hypnosis. Very, very few things that I do. But I'm coming from Ericksonian hypnotherapy, which is very suggestive. We make suggestions instead of telling. It's so much more powerful, in my opinion. Classical hypnotherapy is more instructional, submissive, authoritarian. I don't like to be an authority. I'm an authority in my business and my coaching, but I'm not an authority over people. Does that make sense? So I'm very, very clear with those. But follow instructions. I give them suggestions. The only time I really do instructions if I'm like using hypnosis. Listen to my words. I'm using hypnosis to help somebody, like with skydiving, like which I have. I walk them through step by step of what to do, and then sometimes I tell them, what's going to happen in a really positive way. But that's because I've had a lot of different success in that area, and I can actually coach that. It's not just making things up. So I give suggestions, and like those in stage hypnosis, guess what? Stage hypnosis is one thing. Classical hypnotherapy is a whole different thing. Ericksonian hypnotherapy is a different thing. If you want to do stage hypnosis, go to a stage hypnosis trainer. I don't do stage hypnosis. Could I do? Sure. Would I recommend somebody hire me compared to a trained hypnotherapy? No, the stage hypnosis person. No, do that. People have shows in Vegas and other things. Stage hypnosis doesn't have the word hypnotherapy in there, does it? So if you want to do it for entertainment, corporate events, Vegas shows, that's a whole different path. Classical hypnotherapy, you want to tell people what to do, and if you want to be an authority, maybe a little bit ego God complex, maybe do that. If you want to do more Ericksonian hypnotherapy, you actually want to help people reconnect to their unconscious mind and higher consciousness, then I would do that. So first of all, get clear on what you want. You let me know, and then I can help you with that. But I don't do, I do a stage, I do seminars, but I don't hypnotize people for show. I do it to show people the power of their unconscious mind and the resources they have within them. And there's hypnosis is a super tool. It's like a super tool, and their unconscious mind is a superpower. So I use the super tool to connect them to the superpower they already have built within. It's lying dormant. Nobody's ever taught them, and I'm going to be the one that teaches them if I'm the one that teaches them. So that's what I hope. There's a lot of information in there, and I hope it's helpful, but I reframed most of it, and I couldn't answer it the way it was because I don't do that, but I answered it the way that I do it, and I hope that really, really helps. So thank you, Phyllis, for writing your questions in. Keep writing your questions in. We're here to help. If you're interested in any of the trainings that we do, whether it's within a coaching session, become the best coach, a world-class coach, or once you certify how to actually meet your ideal people, the people that you were born and meant to work with and serve, which are two different things, reach out in the comments below and look in our description, and we can tell you a little bit about that. But thank you. Please give it a like. Please subscribe. Help us share it in the algorithm. And we'll see you in the next video.